Hello, in this lecture you learn how to use functions. Now a function is almost the same as stored procedure, but generally you don't call on stored procedure from some other language. You call on function through stored procedure. So you do actually call the stored procedure from some other language, from some other program, but you do not call the function. Instead, you call the function through the stored procedure. And the function, it actually looks pretty much the same as it would look on, say, C#. That would be method in C#, or say in JavaScript. It's pretty much the same kind of a syntax. There are a few differences, so you will see them now. Now, to create the function, you need to go to your database and you need to go to the programmability. And then here in the programmability, you need to expand functions, or rather you don't need to expand, but let's see at what we have. We have several different options. So let's try to create new one. You right click on it, of course, and new. And then you have this inline table, multi-statement, table valued. We don't need any of them this time. We're just gonna do a simple scalar valued. So this one returns one simple single value. Now, as you can see, you have some things provided already. And we have the name as usual, so we can go through everything from the top. Now, first of all, the name, so let's do the name, test function 1, let's say. We might do another one. Now, here you can pass on parameters, pass on the variables. So we delete that, and we will actually try to do two variables, and we will be inserting into our test table. We will be using that and doing that. So first of all, we need some text. So let's say variable txt and varchar 100, and say the second one simply decimal, and let's do decimal 18 and 2. So as you can see, you do pretty much the same thing as you would do in the stored procedure in terms of declaring the variables. You separate everything with comma, like that. And you can have as many of these parameters as you want. Now the only difference is that you do need to encircle them in parentheses like that. And then afterwards, you declare a return. Remember, in stored procedure, you do not declare a return. You simply select, and whatever you select, that is returned. Now here you declare a return type. You do not create a variable, you just select a type, just like you would do in C#, C++, or any other language. So let's do the return, and let's try to do integer, for example. Let's do integer, and what we will try to do, let's say, multiply that. So rather, let's do another decimal. Actually, let's do another decimal just in case. So let's multiply that number, decimal number, and then also insert it. So what you need to have here, you need to have some kind of a variable. You actually don't need any of these. We will first declare our return variable, and of course the variable that we will be inserting. So let's do declare, and then let's do say, for example, output, let's say, and then that would be decimal, of course. Decimal. We will see if we can properly multiply everything. So now let's do add output. Let's actually set that. Now we have declared that, so let's set it. Let's do add output equals, let's say, 2 times at dec. So we multiply it by 2. We will hope that that works. And then what we need to do, we need to try to actually insert it to the table. So let's try that. If that works out, let's do insert into, what is the table? Test table. Now we need the column, so that's going to be text test, and then dec test like that. And the values, obviously we will have txt at txt, and then also at output. So we are multiplying our dec variable, and then we get the output, we insert the output, and we also try to return the output. So let's do return at output. Let's see if the syntax works. It may not work properly. Okay, so we might have a problem with that, so let's delete that. Let's delete all that rather. We just want to see how the functions work, how they function in the SQL Server. And as you can see, this is more for making calculations, so doing various procedures, rather than actually inserting or retrieving from the databases. You could do all that, but it can get a bit tricky. That's why I'm not gonna do that now. So once you are done with your whole function, you simply execute that and you have that completed. So let's create a new query, and let's do select, and we'll try to get to that function, but usually you need to do dbo, and then you need to find your function's name. So let's see what the function name is, so we can actually refresh it, and you look for scalar valued functions here. So we have test function 1. We can actually copy it from here, just quickly insert it like that, and let's do text tst. Let's say we don't need text actually, and let's do free. Let's see if that works out. We might have a little problem here. See what happens. So we do actually get the result. So remember, the function is 2 by that variable, so 2 by 3 is 6. So that is how you use the functions. Again, they are best used for doing something with the text perhaps, or making some calculations. It shouldn't be used for actual insertions of the data. And with that, we will conclude this lecture.